Today we are checking out the beautiful seaside villages of Cinque Terre on the northwestern coast of Italy. Each of the 5 villages have a very unique feel about them, and in this video we're going to explore all 5 in a jam-packed 2 days full of mountains, beaches and amazing food. We set up our home base in the village of Vernazza, and if one day we were to return, we would absolutely stay there again. After the daytime crowds clear out, it's an incredibly peaceful and beautiful place with plenty of good food options down near the water, with 2 beaches to choose from, including this one that's the end of a really cool tunnel that has towering cliffs with old school Italian houses sitting right up on the top. At night time it's completely deserted, and it's a cool place to bring a pizza and a bottle of wine to enjoy a quiet dinner on what almost feels like a private beach. But it's the view looking back at the village from the harbour that really makes Vernazza special. The old cathedral and the town, surrounded by vineyards, was just the perfect setting, and we were excited to call this home for the next couple of days. After exploring the village, we were ready for our first hike, and we thought the 4-kilometre hike to the village of Monterosso was a great way to start, but we ran into some problems.
And didn't wear shoes, so at the checkpoint they said stop, can't come through without shoes. Who goes hiking without shoes?
This is very comfortable.
Very comfortable. Look very nice in photos. Problem 2, it was raining the last few days, so the trail's shut anyway.
Undeterred, we just jumped on a ferry, and we arrived with much fresher legs than we otherwise would have. Now, Monterosso is the largest of the 5 villages, which means plenty of restaurant and accommodation options, and 2 large beaches that are separated by this headland that you can walk under through a big tunnel or take the scenic route and enjoy the views. Now, compared to Vernazza, this is a much more bustling place and felt like more of a family holiday destination because of the large beaches there and the crowds. We did find some incredible food there though, and came across one restaurant that had the most extensive bruschetta menu I've ever seen, and everything we tried was amazing. Our plan on day 2 was to head all the way east to the furthest town away named Riomaggiore, and from there village hop our way through Manarola and Corniglia on our way back to Vernazza, and hopefully get some hiking in along the way this time. Now, one of the best things about Cinque Terre that makes it easy to cover a lot of ground in a single day is the train line that connects all 5 villages. It's much faster than the ferry, and although it's a bit of an eyesore in some parts, it's really convenient for getting from village to village. The background at the water's edge looking back at the town of Riomaggiore would have to be one of the most widely used profile pictures on social media. Chances are you know someone who has that picture. Unfortunately, this was the highlight of our experience in Riomaggiore. Access to the beach was completely cut off by the tide, and the walkway to get there was damaged in some parts and quite dangerous. There were some people hanging out on the rocks to catch some sun, but it didn't look particularly fun or comfortable. The food we ate there was relatively uninspiring compared to the day before, and because this is the first town that you would encounter when travelling into the region from the major cities in the east, we found it to be the busiest of the 5 villages. Having said that, I stayed in this village on a previous trip all the way back in 2008, and we had an absolute blast, so it all depends on what you're looking for. Unfortunately, the coastal walkway that would take us to Manarola was also closed, so we jumped back on the train and we were there in no time. Now for us, Manarola really captured everything that we hoped to find in an Italian village. The streets were charming, the waterfront absolutely beautiful, and the best part is that behind the village there was a hiking trail that would take us all the way up through those terraced vineyards to a really high vantage point where we could get some amazing views down the coast and also looking back over the town. It's not a long hike, but it is very steep, but the views when you get to the top are absolutely worth it. Next we visited the mountaintop village of Corniglia. This is a unique spot in that the whole village sits very high in the mountains, and of course you have to walk your way up there from the train station, which is much closer to water level. Corniglia is a great place to visit, but I wouldn't necessarily stay there because lugging a suitcase up those stairs would be quite a challenge. Walking the narrow streets definitely feels like a trip back in time, and when you get to the end of the village, things open up for some really spectacular views over the Mediterranean and up and down the coast. It was our intention to do the 3.5-kilometre hike from Corniglia all the way back to Vernazza where we started. But after doing 3 villages in a day and doing that big hike down the back of Manarola, we decided to rest our tired legs and have a couple of drinks instead. After exploring all 5 villages, we were very happy with our choice of making Vernazza our home base. Although if we are to come back in the future, we'd probably stay in Manarola for something different. It really was a beautiful town and we really loved both of them. And if you'd like to see more of our Italian adventure, click the video on screen now.